Hello, my name is Maria. I'm a demonstrator in Ontario, Canada, and today's video is on the stained glass technique, and I'm going to show you how to make it two different ways. Both ways use some sort of plastic, and the plastic can be like from an overhead transparency or some packaging, and the other is our Stampin' Up! Window sheet. So they both use some sort of plastic. And in one case, we're going to use Dazzling Diamonds, and in the other method, we're going to use glitter paper. Now, I've got two butterflies here. One is done with the glitter paper, which is this one. I don't know if you can see it underneath there. And this one is done with Dazzling Diamonds. Which one do you like better? It's hard to tell, isn't it? Okay, let's get started. Now I'm going to use the butterfly from Beautiful Day. Unfortunately, this is a stamp set that is going to be retired. We're going to use that, and because we're stamping on a plastic or a window sheet, we need to use Stazon ink. Now, before you use the Stazon ink, it's very important that you re-ink it first to make sure that it's going to give you a clear impression. Now, I've already done that. You're also going to need some Dazzling Diamonds, and that's also retiring. So, if you want to get some, place your order now. And you're going to need some glue, and I'm going to use the glue from the glue pen, and I have put it in a little container. So I'm going to do that one first because it takes a little while to dry. Now I've placed the window sheet on a piece of colored cardstock so that you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to take my stamp and I'm going to ink it up with Stazon ink. Now I like to, because it's a larger stamp, I like to lay the stamp down and then apply the ink this way. And just take your time and make sure that your stamp is inked up well. And because I have re-inked my stamp already, I'm pretty confident it's going to stamp well. Now, when stamping on plastic, it's going to be a little bit slippery. So, we're going to put it straight down and try not to let it slide. And then apply firm pressure for a little while just to let the ink absorb into the plastic. Now I'm a little out of camera, but I don't dare move it in case we get a blurred image. Okay, I think we're ready. That came out beautifully. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to clean my stamp, and I'm cleaning it with Stazon cleaner. You want to do that quite quickly so that the stamp doesn't get stained. Then you clean it with a paper towel and wipe it with a paper towel and then clean it normally. Now you want to let your Stazon dry, and if it's not dry, you just take your heat tool and just heat it a little bit. You'll be able to tell if it's dry, if it's not shiny anymore. Now we're going to take some Stampin' blends. We're going to color on the reverse side. And I've got 4 different colors. So I'm going to do it in blues. You can do it in any colors that you want. And the dark tones seem to work the best. So I'll take it off of this colored piece of cardstock so as not to confuse the colors. And I'll just quickly color in. And what's nice about Stampin' blends is you go over once, and once that's dry, you can put another layer on. And if you're not happy, then you can add another layer. And I'll just add some here. Here, this is dark Bermuda Bay. like I said, the dark tones seem to work the best. I'll probably come back in and do another one. This is Coastal Cabana. It's the dark tone again. And I'll probably end up doing a couple of coats of this as well. So you get the idea. I'm going to turn the camera off and finish coloring. I'm back. So I finished coloring the butterfly. And I put at least 3 coats of each color on it. And again, I'm coloring with the Stampin' blend on the wrong side. And I used dark Pool Party, dark Balmy Blue, dark Coastal Cabana, and dark Bermuda Bay. But like I said, you could use any colors that you like. Okay, what we're going to do next is going to apply glue to the back all over. And like I said, you need a glue that's going to dry clear. So you don't want to be using Tombow glue, but you can use the glue from the glue pen. So, or any glue that dries clear. Now there are some other glues that you can use. I think there's one that I use. It's called Fusion. Fusion. And I bought that in the dollar store. So, you know, there are various glues you can use. But like I said, I'm using the glue from the glue tip pen because it dries clear. And again, we're working on the wrong side of the image. You want to make sure that you get glue all over the back side. I'm almost running out of glue here. I think we've got glue all over. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take Dazzling Diamonds. And like I said, this is retiring. It's not going to be in the new catalog, which is sad. It's one of my go-to items, especially for Christmas cards. Well, even not Christmas. I just like Dazzling Diamonds. It's shiny. Okay, cover it, and I just have this little bead tray. You can use whatever you like. And there we've got, now I see I've missed a few spots with the glue, but we'll just leave that. If you start to put glue back on after you started the glitter, you end up making a real mess. So if you look on the other side, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? It's quite nice, actually. Now we'll set that aside to dry because it does take about an hour to dry. And then we'll get started on the second butterfly. Now I've already stamped the image of my butterfly from Beautiful Day. And I've checked to make sure that there's no shiny, that there isn't any shiny ink, so the Stazon is dry. I've cleaned my stamp with Stazon cleaner, and now I'm ready to color. And again, I'll use the same Stampin' blends, and I'll go ahead and color, and then I'll be okay. I've colored my second butterfly with the same color of Stampin' blends, and with glue dots, I'm going to adhere glitter paper to the back of this. Get some glue dots. There we are. And with my pokey tool, I'll just put some glue dots in strategic places, the ends of the wings. Now you may see them a little bit once it's attached, but it's not that noticeable. And I show you a few samples, see if you can see where the glue dots were. Like I said, you might be able to see just a little bit, but can't think of any other way that you can adhere this glitter paper to the butterfly. Just want to make a couple more and then I'm done. Just one more. Okay, I like one more. Be there. Okay. So we'll take this and we'll place this, adhere this to the glitter paper. Now what do you think? Are the glue dots noticeable? Not that you can see anyway. So now you take a pair of scissors, and you'll need probably some stronger scissors to get through this, and you're going to cut all the way around the butterfly, leaving a little bit of a margin, because you don't want to be cutting the stamped image. So I'm going to cut that, and I'll be right back. So here's the butterfly all cut out. I don't know if you can see, the glitter on that. That's the glitter paper on the back side. But here's the first one. It's not quite dry yet, so I have to be careful how I handle it. There we have the two. I think actually that the first one has a bit more glitter to it. It's a little bit messier, but it certainly has more of a stained glass effect. Okay, so let me show you how to make that into a card. So for my card, I'm going to use Bermuda Bay card base, and I'm going to die cut at the end with the new ornate border dies, Whisper White, and I'm going to use some of the designer paper, forgotten the name of it, and then the bit of cardstock that has come off this when you die cut it, I'm going to take this and apply it to here. The other thing we're going to use, I'm going to use the stamp set Beautiful Day, and I'm going to use this. We've already used this. And the sentiment from Butterfly Wishes. It was a perfect day because of you. And we're going to die cut that with the Ornate Frames die and layer it with two punches from the, and I can never remember the names of the punches, so I have them written at the bottom. Label Me Fancy punch. Some dimensionals, Bermuda Bay, and Memento ink. I'm going to start by adding about a 3/4 by 5.5 inch piece of Whisper White to the inside of the card front. That just makes this die cut edge stand out a little bit more. Then going to adhere, there's the other side of it, it's the Buddy something, anyway, I've forgotten the name of that. I'm sure it'll come to me, I'll write it on the screen when I remember, or look it up, one or the other. And this I'll put at the end of this Whisper White piece, which is 5.5 by 4. And then this little piece, I don't like to waste anything, and I thought, oh, this is kind of pretty. So I'll take it and I'll put it right here. Get this, make it look a little pretty. Just take that, trim this off. Now I'll add this to the card front. I usually use Tombow glue, but I'm using this tape runner that I bought at Staples. The snail runners are going to be discontinued as well. So if you like the snail adhesive, stock up on it now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Bermuda Bay ink. Now I could have done this before, and I made a piece of paper, because I find the ink rather strong, so just stamp off, and that's what I'm going to do with that. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment on the back of that, and I'll use black memento ink for that. It was a perfect day because of you. I love that. And one thing I discovered accidentally is that the punchies from this punch mat this perfectly. The only thing is, it's too short. So what I did was I punched two, and I'm going to adhere them together, and it's a perfect mat. So what I'll do is I'll just trim off one end, and I'll apply adhesive to the back of this. Just one strip will be fine. And you take this and you match it up on the corner here. And you just take a bit of adhesive here on this piece. Whoops. It's amazing how things end up on the floor. Okay, then just adhere, match it up at this end. And there we go. I'm going to have to bring the floor up closer to me. Anyway, so that's going to be the sentiment. Now, the butterfly, what do you think? Right there? I think that's pretty good too. I think I'll add that with dimensionals. I love popping things up with dimensionals. The only time you don't want to use dimensionals is if you're putting a number of cards in an envelope and you think the envelope's not going to go through that dreaded slot at the post office, then don't use dimensionals, because that just raises your card a little bit too much. Now this is the butterfly that we put the glitter paper on the back. I'll put some dimensionals on the back of that as well. Here. And again, you don't really see the blue dots unless you're looking for them. Okay, and that's it. My other butterfly's not quite dry yet, but you get the idea of how to put them on a card. If you have any questions, just write them down below. And just to let you know that any of the products that I use today, you'll be able to get through my Just wanted to show you another card that I made using the Papa Petals stamp set, and that stamp set is going to be discontinued as well. it's best to use the stamps that have open spaces on them. So I did these 3 flowers and the butterfly using the Dazzling Diamonds and the glue. It turned out pretty good. And the designer paper is Bonanza Buddies designer paper.